Hey everybody, this is Professor Phillips. I just wanted to record a kind of introduction video to welcome you to the class, kind of go over the syllabus and talk about, how things are going to work this semester. If you're in this class, you should be in Government 2305, which is federal government. Again, my name is Professor Jack Phillips. This class will be completely online. There are no on campus components to this class, so everything from homework to testing and everything will be done through Blackboard. Um, I will be setting up a Microsoft Teams for our kind of video conference meetings. So if you don't have Teams yet, it's part of the Microsoft Office suite, which you can download for free from the college. So make sure you download and install Teams before this Sunday, which will be our first class meeting. On the syllabus, it's at office hours. I don't have an office on campus, and most of you aren't going to be on campus anyway. So if you want to contact me, the best way is by email. And then if you need to do like office hours to meet with me, we can set that up via Teams. I think my syllabus says Zoom, but we'll set it up through Teams and we can meet one-on-one outside of our regular class meeting if you have anything you want to discuss with me one-on-one. The best way to get a hold of me is by email. If you email me and I don't respond to you, chances are that you've misspelled my last name. Phillips only has one L, or you did not put my.tccd.edu. My email address is just like yours. So if you don't get a response from me, make sure you sent an email to the correct email. It is in the syllabus, so make sure if you have a question about the correct email, you check the syllabus. So this is US government. Most of you have probably had some government class, whether it was in high school, middle school. I don't know what the requirements are nowadays. But we're going to start at the beginning. Now, this isn't a history class, but we're going to start with the founding and the Constitution and move through, the structure of our government, talk about current events. There's a lot going on, in American society this year. There's an election this year. We're going to talk about elections and political participation, political culture, public policy, all that kind of stuff. The required text for the class, and I use required loosely. If you're someone who wants to have a book, it is American Government Roots and Reform by O'Connor. My notes, the PowerPoints I will post each week, and the same ones I use for my lecture videos, they come directly from that book, and I will only test you over what is in my notes. So if you don't want to buy the book, you don't have the money to spend on the book, you will be just fine without it. If you're someone who likes to have it, some people like to have a book so they can refer to it, make notes in it, and that kind of stuff. Get it as cheap as possible. I'm not sure which edition of the book is in the bookstore. If you can find an older edition or a used copy, if you absolutely want to have the book, get it as cheaply as possible. Because we are online, I do have to do attendance for the school, because if you stop attending, you can lose your financial aid or any scholarships or things like that. So basically what I'm going to do is for attendance, if you stop attending class and they ask me for the last date you attended, I will use the date of the last assignment that you turned in. So if you're coming to class, turning your assignments in, you'll be fine. The only time you have to worry is if you stop participating in the class whatsoever. Course content, I talked about that already, and the course goals, learning outcomes. We talked about the things the class is going to cover, and you'll be expected to know about on test and your discussion post, things like that. Course assessment. So this this is what you're going to be graded on. So we have two exams in this class. We have the midterm and the final, and then you have a weekly discussion post that will be due. I'm going to set the due dates for those shortly as I'm setting up the class. Since we only meet on Sunday, you'll probably be doing the discussion post after we meet and talk. So I'm going to figure this out, but we'll talk about it more this weekend. So your midterm, 30% of your grade, final, 30% of your grade, and then your weekly discussion posts are 40% of your grade. So that's how you'll be graded. The exams, they will be 50 multiple choice questions, but I typically do a review that I will send out to you before the exam that will have half of the questions on that review. So if you do the review, it'll typically be like a Kahoot, and I will send you all the link to it, and you can kind of do it on your own. If you do those, you'll be half prepared for the exam. There are no makeup tests because since we're all online and nobody's going to campus, and there's really not a whole lot that can be done there. Unless you have like a serious emergency or something like that, there are no makeup exams. Your discussion board post, those will be due weekly. And so an adequate post should be about 500 words, which is, if you do a single spaced kind of essay, it'll be about half a page. For these, I want you to take the material we're talking about each week and relate it to, or just find something in that material that really stands out to you that you want to talk about. You don't have to touch on everything in the chapter. If there's one thing that really stands out to you, talk about that. You can talk about it from, your political perspective. You can talk about it from, kind of a pros cons type situation. You can relate it to things that are happening in our country right now. So however you want to talk about it, that's how you do your discussion post. So I leave that up to you. That's the kind of tricky part of the assignment, is finding what stands out to you in the material and being able to write about that. Now, there are two things I absolutely do not want you to do. One, don't regurgitate my notes back to me. My notes, I wrote them. I know what's in them, so I don't need you to tell me what's in them again. That's not what I'm looking for. You're not showing me that you are learning anything from the material that way. You're just copying and pasting. And two, do not go to the internet and plagiarize something. These will be run through the software and Blackboard that detects plagiarism, and it's gotten pretty good. So if I find that you have plagiarized, you will get a 0 on the assignment. Now, if you are referencing another source from the internet or something like that, that's fine. Just tell me that that's what you did. If you happen to read, like say you read an article in the New York Times, you can say, a recent article in the New York Times says blah, 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 blah. But that's not your whole post. You're just kind of using it to support something. If your whole post is taken from another source, that's plagiarism. And then there is an extra credit assignment this semester. So since we are in an election year, I give extra credit for going to vote. And it is significant extra credit. So I will add 10 points to your lowest test grade for going to vote. How you will prove this to me. When you go vote, and this is not just registering to vote, this is actually going to the polls and casting your vote. When you go to your polling location to vote, you will sign in, they'll check your identification or your voter registration card, and they'll give you a little code to go to the voting machine, put that code in, and then you vote. Once you finish, it'll print out a little receipt to confirm that your vote has been cast. What you'll do is you take that receipt, and then of course you'll get your little sticker that says I voted. And once you get outside the polling location, take a selfie of yourself holding that receipt up. Do not take a picture inside the polling location. That is illegal. But you'll send me that selfie, and that's your proof that you voted. If you cannot vote because you are not 18 or you are not a United States citizen, then I will have an alternate assignment for you. But this is 10 points on your lowest test grade. So this is significant extra credit. It can raise your grade an entire letter grade if you're kind of right there on the margins. So I've seen it turn a B into an A, C into a B. So it is significant extra credit. All right. Class rules. Since we're not going to be meeting in person, this will kind of apply to our weekly video conferences that we'll have through Teams. Most of this class, it's going to be about political issues, and those are things that people have strong opinions about. So if we get into discussions like in our video conferences, I just ask that everyone treat each other with respect. We can disagree about things and do that civilly. So no name calling, personal attacks based on someone's political point of view, their race, religion, sexual orientation, any of that kind of stuff. If any of that happens, I have to report you to the college. I've had to do this before. It's just a pain in the ass, so please don't make me have to do that. But we can disagree, and that's fine that we disagree. It's politics, so we can do that in a respectful way. And then when you're writing your discussion post, I ask for the same. If you disagree with something, that's fine, but no using inflammatory language, racial slurs, any of that kind of stuff. I will fail you for that as well. All right. No plagiarism again. That's also in my rules. So if you look at the syllabus, there's a schedule by week, and that will tell you what we will be covering from week to week. So for your first two chapters that I've already put the notes and the video lectures up for those. The videos are on YouTube, and I send you the links. For the first two sections that I've already put up, there is no discussion post. So these are just kind of introductory chapters to the class and what we're going to be covering. Your first discussion post will be over the next two chapters, starting with the US Constitution. That will be your first discussion post. And so they will be due the next time, that the next week. So we'll talk about that. This week, when we meet on Sunday, I'll go over all of this, explain what I'm looking for, answer questions and all that. And that way, on Monday, when your discussion post opens up, you'll be ready to go. So each week is laid out in the syllabus. It tells you what chapters we're covering, which discussion post is due that week. When you go into Blackboard, there will be a tab on the left that says discussion post, and that's where you will submit your assignments. You can either, when you click on that week's discussion post, it will open up a text box, or you can upload like a Word file if you want to do it that way as well. This class moves a little faster than the other ones because it is a once a week class on the weekend. So we cover two chapters every week, and you will have your first test, the midterm, at the beginning of October. So just know that this class is a little more fast-paced than if you had taken it during the week. I have everything laid out in the schedule, so if you have a question about what you should be focusing on for the week, it's all right there. I have the holidays included. I have your final, the schedule for your final. Because we're doing this online, the final and the midterm and the final won't all have to be taken on the same day. I have a span of 3 days set aside for each test, so you can access it once it's convenient for you and sit down and take the exam. Now, the exam will be timed, so you have to complete it in one sitting, but like the midterm is scheduled for October 2nd through the 4th. So anytime on those 3 days, you can sit down and take the exam. We'll talk more about that this weekend when we meet on our video conference. The rest of the syllabus is things about the college. If you need accommodations for the class, contact the office of or the Disability Support Services office, and they can uh, verify all of that information and then let me know. Um, Scholastic dishonesty, again, no plagiarism, no cheating, any of that kind of stuff. And then there's a lot of resources on campus to help you do well, like tutoring and all that kind of stuff. So take advantage of that. You can always contact the school and see how they're doing that right now because we're not on campus. The other thing is make sure if you decide you're going to drop the class that you formally do that. Sometimes people will just stop coming and they don't actually drop the class. And so when we get to the end of the semester, they haven't turned anything in, but they're still enrolled. And so I have to give them an F. So make sure you formally drop the class if you're going to do that. Other than that, I want you to enjoy the class. Hopefully you get something out of the class, learn something you didn't know before. And I want you to do well. I want everybody to do well in here. So if there's anything I can do to help you succeed in here, please let me know. What I ask is that you don't wait until the last minute. If you wait till the end of the semester when finals have started to ask me if you had a problem with something or to make something up or whatever, I can't do anything because it's the end of the semester. So if you have issues early on, bring them to me as soon as possible, and we'll figure it out. But don't wait until the last minute. But I want y'all to have fun. I want y'all to enjoy the class, and I want y'all to do well in here. So definitely reach out to me if there's something I can do to help you be successful. Well, welcome to the class, and I will talk to y'all more this weekend.